Hallo und willkommen zurück zu Shadowrun Hongkong. Wir werden hier weiter rumlaufen und mit den ganzen Leuten reden. Als nächstes mit Spider-Chen. Despite the winds and the rain pelting Heoi, the proprietor of the stall, a monk, judging by their outfit, is unconcerned. The monk's expression is indifferent, though hardly placid or serene. Muscles show as tightly wound metal bands beneath the skin, ready to snap in any direction without warning. What's more, the monk's robes are anything but ordinary. Certainly, silk makes up the base outfit, but it's paired with high-impact ballistic armor, heavy-duty boots, and a bandolier of throwing knives. The table in front of you is arrayed with a wide variety of melee weapons, charms, jade pendants, and other mystical accoutrements oder so. Accoutrements? Keine Ahnung, Wort kenne ich nicht. Beneath an awning in the rear are rows upon rows of cages, each housing some variety of exotic reptile or insect, decent enough flanked by jars and boxes of Chinese herbs, incense and powders and inks. The monk spares you only the shortest of glances as you approach. I am Monk Sheng. Most people in Heoi call me Spider-Chen, on account of the spiders back there. You're not local, not by a long shot. It's definitely a statement, not a question. What tipped you off? Shen smirks crookedly, two teeth peeking out from between thin lips. Body language. You're not afraid to look me in the eye for one. For another, your clothes, not in fashion here in Hong Kong. Swords, knives, clubs, I sell it all. Make most of these, but if I can't, I got friends who can. If you need incense or salves or medication, I make you sell those too. And if you joints ache, I can give you acupuncture. Shen places both palms on the table, leaning over it towards you with a wicked grin. So, what can I show you? You're a monk and a weapons dealer. Shen slowly raises an eyebrow, arms folded. Yeah. Where else would the ancient masters have gotten their legendary swords and spears? Down at the mall? I was at Wudang Mountain for 15 years before coming back to Hong Kong. I've been practicing Xin Kui Kwang my entire life. That's how I learned the herbs as well as the forms. It just so happens I am good in a forge too. That's why what you buy here is better than most other people's. So why become a weapons dealer out here? I was a runaway, a street orphan in Aberdeen. One day an old man who called himself Wu offered to take me in. Let me make something for myself as long as I worked hard. Nothing in life is free, friend, not even grandfather Wu's help, so I work for him now. Sounds like he was part of a triad. Shen's eyes roll at this. Obviously, you think I'm kindly's little haven for no reason. She and grandfather Wu are on good terms. I don't get in her way. I pay a cut to her and everybody's happy. Even Wu, because I solve problems for him. Shen raises a balled fist, which suddenly bursts into blue flame. After a moment, it gutters and goes out. Remember that if anyone ever gives you something for free in Heoi, you pay it back with money or blood, but you pay it back regardless. What is Xing Kui Quan? Yiquan? Shen strikes a sudden pose, body low, one fist against a hip, while the other is extended in an open palm. The 5-element fist style. Water grows wood, which burns to become fire. Fire creates ashen earth, which condenses into metal, etc. The forms cycle the 5 elements, and opposing elements block each other. A water fist will break a wooden defense, but a water block will extinguish fire. Should one use a water interception on a metal fist, however, water will be smashed apart. Direct, simple, powerful, not so elegant as a Baji Quan or Tai Chi, but much more powerful. Shen pulls a tarp away from a nearby lump. The object beneath the tarp is revealed as the door to an Ares City Master armored personnel carrier. It's been caved inwards by a massive amount of force, and in the dead center of the door is an indentation into which Shen's fist would fit perfectly. Power comes from focus, and focus comes from practice and meditation. Xingji Quan produces more power than most other forms of Kung Fu, and applies it in a highly focused way. Why are your weapons special? Because I take greater care with them, and I've studied the ancient texts. Anyone can make an excellent carbide steel blade, but I can make that carbide blade burst into flames. I can make it sing with joy in combat. Anyone can make steel, not anyone can awake its soul. Can I see one of the blades you've awoken? Shen waves a hand at you dismissively. No, of course not. Swords like that have to be custom ordered. Only when someone cancels an order do I have one just laying around, and believe me, they get snatched up quickly. I get the picture. Let's talk about something else. Okay, what do you want to know? You sell the snakes and spiders too? Shen shakes a finger at you, eyes narrowed. No, they're mine. I can sell you the things I craft with my hands, or the things I can do, but the medicines and poisons I make are my secret. You want those? You You apprentice to me? In 5 years maybe I show you to make a poultice, eh? They are that secret? Of course they are secret! These are what sent me apart from the rest of the street dealers in Heoi. You want creme or bliss? Any 2-bit triad punk can make that for you. But I can realign your ki, set your Jin and Zhang in balance, or set somebody else's out of balance with a few drops. To master my skills you need to learn for years. It's not just following a formula. You want to learn? You need patience. You try to learn without patience, all you do ape the masters. Shen snaps 2 fingers and points at the cages. You have to understand them to truly learn my art. Otherwise, you never become a master. Might as well get a skill soft. Let me take a look at your wares. Kurzen Moment, da muss ich mal gerade hier meine täubern. So. Ein Schwertchen, eine Machete. Street Monk Outfit hat auch 3 Schutz. Das sind irgendwelche Angriffe für diese für das Chi-Casting. Und dann haben wir Nahkampfangriffe, aber brauchen wir alles nicht. Hätten wir den auch. Fehlt noch Mr. Doc. Und der Typi. Den gehen wir aber nachher erst an. Mal gucken, ob hier unten noch was war. Negativ. The intercom buzzes to life. You again, I thought I told you to fuck off. Kindly will vouch for me. Yeah, you just idle your engine there for a minute and I'll check on that. There's a long silence on the intercom. The door gives several heavy metallic clicks. There's a full rumble, a dull rumble, like heavy bolts sliding back. A green light flashes on the terminal. Door appears to be unlocked. You can enter the clinic. This clinic looks like it just hosted a party. Spindly mechanical arms swing from unobtrusive wall mounts, pulling down crepe paper, ribbons, and scooping food platters and empty beer bottles into biohazard bags. A severely crippled Caucasian man sits in a wheelchair amidst the maelstrom of mess and robotics. In his 40s, thick beard, tungsten earrings, beer belly, one cyber eye. Both his legs are missing. One at the hip, the other at the knee. He has only one arm and only 3 fingers remain on his surviving hand. His face and arm show the scars of reconstructive surgery. Ah, nicht so gesund. He grins widely at you, regarding you with bloodshot eyes. He is clearly hungover. Hey, I'm Ambrose, he shouts cheerfully in English, his words piling together in a loose Midwestern accent. They call me 10 Arms. Welcome to the Kong, fellow UK's Iron. He chuckles, his chest shaking with mirth. A Waldo arm springs to life and swings over to him. His menacing metal pincer momentarily sets a cigarette between his lips, just long enough for him to inhale from it. Kindly says you're alright. What can I do for you? You're a doctor? Sure I am. I'm a rigger doctor. A rock door! Ambrose bursts into laughter, then stops and clutches his head. Oh man, I cannot laugh hard today. Too much partying last night. It hurts. I'm not board certified, but don't worry, I should be. I am full on skilled. My work's Yellow Lotus guaranteed and precisely in accordance with World Medical Association standards. Everybody in Heoi comes to me, cause I'm the only option. Ambrose chuckles delightedly. Very well, Roctor. Right on. Let's get you tricked out. Unless you just want to bullshit, which I'm down for too. What do you do here? What do I do? Tune-ups and engine rebuilds. On your ass. I do it all. First aid, second aid, surgery, cybernetics, obstetrics, euthanasia. I'm your one-stop shop for health and beauty. Well, maybe not beauty. Can you install me with combat wear? You know it. You got the coin and the sense. I'll trick you out like a bulldozer with ground effects and a turret. You've got it all. Bionic limbs, wired reflexes, decker wear, blood filters, synthetic muscle, bone lacing, greased bearings, ground effects, tight bolts. The full range of Chrome Allies services is something that we like to keep beneath the HKPF's radar. Ambrose winks. I don't modify myself. Any reason I'd come around here, if not for medical gear? Shoot, this is a friendly little neighborhood. I love it when people come to buy and bullshit. Hell, I host birthdays. Ambrose's spider drone swings a bottle of coffee liquor over to his nose. He sniffs it gingerly. Nope, that's not good anymore. Full of spit and cigarette ash. What sort of mechanical services do you offer? Oh, nothing you'd be interested in. Right now I'm mostly doing engine mechanics and electrician stuff. I send Maximum Law and Reliable Matthew any work they can handle. It's really just a hobby and service to the community. I make my nut with a clinic. He looks fondly over the massive, partially assembled V8 engine occupying part of the operating theater. That's baby gonna be goddess when I'm done with her. Your front door could stop a bulldozer. Why so fortified? Are you kidding? Have you any idea how much all the stuff in here is worth? This is a high capital operation, and life's dangerous for a guy missing most of his members, tooling up smugglers and criminals. Let me tell you what, though, someone busts in here, they'll be gonna be in a world of hurt. Ambrose chuckles evilly. There's a lot more than pipes and wires up in the false ceiling, and I've got kindly Screw and the Club 88 boys on the panic button. They know which side their bread is chromed on. What, you're thinking of trying to knock me over? He laughs uproariously, but it's not clear if he's kidding. Show me your services. Sure thing. Tune up or spare parts. Cyberware. Cyberware affinity. Arm Essence, a simple skillware system designed to give the user more control over aiming. Over aiming thrown weapons passive. Thrown weapons. Da gibt's Ranged Combat. Das kostet aber 1450. A simple skillwire system designed to give the user more control over aiming projectile weapons. Shear washes bone lacing process sheaths a user skeletal system in a layer of anti-ballistic plastic. For a body. Simple skill wire system designed to give the user more control over their reaction times. Naja. Uses the close combat skill for accuracy and cyber affinity for critical chance. Nahkampf, Nahkampf. Basic Cyber Eye replaces, extends and enhances your vision. 3% to hit, klingt nicht schlecht, aber da gibt es sicherlich bessere dann später. Required for riggers, deckers and those that want to use a smart link weapon. Data Jack. Ich glaube, den sollten wir einbauen. At Technology, Cyberlimbs carry a variety of tailored enhancements. This model boosts the agility of the user and is popular among performance athletes. Quickness. Silver Technologies basic replacement limbs in the form of bla bla bla. Passiv 6 Pro XP. Plus 1 Armor. Data Jack concealed inside of a Cyber Eye, a favorite of spies and infiltrators. Und dann kann man halt dieses Zauberdings nicht mehr benutzen. Data Jack. Würde ich sagen, bauen wir mal ein. Cyberware causes a sense loss. This affects the magic rating of a character, as magic is equal to sense rounded down. Magic is very important for spellcasters, so the base number of spell slots available to the caster is equal to half their magic, rounded down. Therefore, losing a sense can cause spell slots to be permanently lost. In addition, each point of magic lost increases all spell cooldowns by +1. Casting a spell again while it's cooling causes damage to the caster. You cannot have less than 1 sense. Come back to the garage soon. Show me your services. Medical supplies. Das ist dieser ganze Quatsch. Naja, wo man nicht. Weder kaufen noch verkaufen. Goodbye, Ambrose. Time for me to go. Cheers, Kordanor. Talk to you later. Hätten wir das auch. Oh. This electro furnace room has been built out as a medical clinic and a machine shop. The air is alive with the rumble of the furnaces and the hum of cooling fans. It is sweltering. The front area is more like a homey coffee house than a clinic lobby. Comfortable old furniture, used digipads, coloring books. The wall opposite the boilers is cluttered with a mixture of photos and prints, local artists' work, images of military vehicles, of road racing, Rube Goldberg's machines. Personal photos, old-time Chicago gangsters, the Desert's War motorized combat division. Glance around the clinic space. The work area looks more like a machine shop than a medical theater. A robotized operating table and a hydraulic lift supporting a partly disassembled V8 engine occupy places of an equal importance against the north and south walls. Prosthetic limbs are racked overhead like machine parts. A heavy lift hoist is clamped to an I-beam. An impressive home-built computer sits against the far wall. Several bulkier towers sit under the desk, fans whirring. It looks more like a sysadmin Decker's server station than a doctor's terminal. The floors are scuffed concrete, stained with grease and old blood. The faint odors of ammonia, gasoline and antiseptic mingle in the air. A large sign on the back wall reads, "Sanitary space, no spitting." Aha. Klinik, da hatten wir gerade schon geguckt, oder? Ja. Personal photos. The pictures are mostly of Heoi residents, holidays and parties. 10 armed Ambrose is in many of them. The vast scope of the photo suggests that Ambrose must be acquainted with almost everyone in Heoi. Können wir darüber mit dem reden? Nö. Dann noch der hier. Da können wir aber jetzt auch nicht mehr hin, oder? Ne, die Walled City. Like most troll bouncers, this man is knotted with muscles, but absent are the myriad scars that come with age or indiscretion. His only blemishes are the bony skin growths common to his kind, and a single deep scar across his neck and collarbone. You watch yourself in here, or else we check your aerodynamics. And just what will you do if I don't? Aerodynamics? How do you mean? Anyone causes trouble, I see how far I can throw them. No fighting, no killing, no sex trade. He lifts an arm, flexing. His muscles jump out like a mass of serpents and steel cabling. His arm is easily as thick as most humans' waists. I don't mess around. I'm just watching the door. Speichern wir mal. Kalum Kafai. Better groomed than most of his kind, the young troll nonetheless ruins the effort with his own blatant drunkenness. His eyes are red and his expression foggy, but he otherwise appears to be high functioning. Have a drink, friends. Have two, then maybe something else to chase, eh? You're alright? Couldn't be better. I am a prince of Club ITA, chosen you might say. You're part of the family that owns this place? You are a shrewd one, friend. I am their parent and my birthright to peddle gems to every sniffer that passes through our gates. What do you say? Need something to pick you up or bring you down? Can you tell me what I might find around here? No, not a hell of a lot, but I suppose it depends on what you're in the market for. I'm your man for chemistry. My ma offers an assortment of firearms in the back. Everything else here is just glitter and smoke. If you're looking for tech, Law's place sells all the techno baubles you could ask for. Just walk towards the giant blue holo sign that gives everyone a headache. Out further on the same dock, Reliable Matthews, your basic used drone salesman. He's the only game in town for that sort of stuff. If you're needing magical weight sits, try the Parlor of 5 Phases. Haven't a clue about that stuff myself, but both places certainly smell legit from the street. You're better off staying here though. I could set you up with an ampoule of something really smooth. Let's see what you have. Irgendwelche Drogen, dann super, brauchen wir nicht. There's only one way to describe the troll haunting the back of Club 88, weathered it is as if the man had been carved from granite, and then battered by the crash of waves and salty winds over the course of decades. Welcome to Club 88, no killing, no fighting, no sex trade. And no fun, I take it. Rules are rules. You're the one that makes them? I can respect that. I'm Kordanor. I'm Henry Kafai. I suppose I own this place. If you're looking for guns, speak to my wife. And you're looking for farmers, speak to my son Callum. And if you're looking for trouble, you'll be seeing my son Frederick briefly. I'll leave you be. The older troll woman has a striking Amazonian quality. When she was younger, she must have really turned heads. Can I help you? Do you work here? Work, eat, sleep and crap here. This is my family's place. Me, my husband and our 2 boys. Now, do you have business with me? I have no time for window shoppers. What have you got for sale? Firearms from all over the world, from heirs to Walter and everything in between. You're in the market? Let's take a look. The most popular machine gun in the world, Smart Link System. Ich weiß nicht, was das mit dem Achso, requires Data Check. Wegen dem Smart Link. Aber ich weiß nicht, was das Smart Link genau bedeutet. Dafür braucht man Combat 4. Und es kostet gut. Auf jeden Fall sind die teuer, deshalb müssen die besser sein. Ja, gut. Nö. What can you... come back anytime. Anything else you need? What can you tell me about Heoi? There's only one thing you need to know. The corporations do not rule Heoi. We're under Kindly Cheng's umbrella, and the Yellow Lotus soldiers protect the docks and maintain the peace. But we are not tribe members, and they don't own us. Heoi is a crossroads, where goods change hands and deals are made. Kindly makes the market, but we, the families, make it happen. Ermine speaks with the pride of a woman who bows politely to great powers but never prostrates herself before them. Families rebuilt this place when it was left to rot. Strong families like me, and we protect our own. Outsiders and corps know that tangling with Heoi is more trouble than we are worth. The Triads know it is better to work with us than against us, and now you know these things as well. You would do well to remember them. Now, are you looking to buy? Maybe another time. Very well. Was there something else? No. Ja, dann gehen wir wieder zu unserem Schiffchen. Und da müssten wir jetzt am Rechner die Missionen einsehen können. War da oben was? Ne, da kommen wir gar nicht hin. Hatch? Können nach unten gehen. Reactor. It's oppressively hot down here, and the air is full of synthetic odors that grab you by the sinuses and refuse to let go. You can smell engine grease and melting plastic, ionized air and lead solder. A quick scan of the room tells you why. The downstairs tenant has converted this place into a machine shop. Metal fabrication tools and Duraplast extruders line the walls, and a pair of heavy industrial manipulators hang from the ceiling. A man in a black trenchcoat stands with his back to you, staring at a monitor mounted above a sturdy workbench. He addresses you without turning. I was wondering when I'd meet the new neighbor. His voice is pleasant, cultured. There's a hint of a Russian accent there, but it's buried under layers of nuance. Please stay where you're here. Stay where you are. I'll be with you in just a moment. And unless you fancy an unplanned trip to Chrome Alley, don't touch anything. There are all manner of tools in here that could take your hand clean off. Take your time, I won't touch anything. Ah, you're very kind, thank you. Try to see what's on the screen. The feed on the monitor looks like some sort of design software. You can see what appears to be a slim, spidery appendage in orthographic and perspective views. Very good. Yes, that's coming along nicely. Very nice indeed. He turns toward you, smiling, and for the first time you can see his face. He has broadly handsome Slavic features and a chiseled jaw. His eyes are like flecks of ice. So sorry to have kept you waiting, mister. Kordo, it's no problem. Don't worry about it. You're too kind. Now, tell me, what can I do for you? His voice trails off as a flash of motion catches his eye. With alarming speed, a sinister-looking drone scuttles out from under the work table. Its movements are surprisingly agile and fluid. The machine rears back maliciously, spreading its forelegs in a clear sign of aggression. The man's smile tilts, and his tone goes apologetic. Please, don't mind the drone. He can be territorial, but as long as you remain civil, he will not bite. He extends a hand simultaneously. The drone relaxes into a neutral position, lowering its killing legs. Rector, my mechanical counterpart here is called Koshai. Slap him 5. Sup, man? Refuse to shake. Good to meet you. After an awkward moment, he withdraws his hand. He is irritated. He doesn't show it. I am very pleasant to meet you, Kordo. In a community such as Heoi, it is important to be on good terms with one's neighbors. Und das war der. Okay, ich vielleicht geben sollen. Agreed. Speaking of which, I'd like to ask you some questions, if you have the time. He glances at the braces on his forearm. A technical display wings to life, then gutters out. Very well. This morning casting should still be a cooling for a few minutes yet. That's time enough to talk. When you said this morning's casting, what did you mean? Exactly what I said. A casting that I made of a new locomotive assembly for Koshai. He gestures at the display above the work table. A biometric design, as you can see. This one is inspired by the walking legs of a Derakapot crustacean, the mangrove crab, to be specific. You're designing drone parts in here? He nods. And fabricating them, yes. How did you learn to do that? More training and experience than I care to mention. He offers you a wry smile. Drone architecture was once my profession. You see, now it's more of a calling, one that I'm free to pursue now that I've freed myself from the shackles of corporate servitude. Koshai is an interesting name for a drone. Yes, I suppose that it is. Not many riggers would name the most prized possession after a villain from a fairy tale. Not to my heritage, I suppose. What was the fairy tale about? A thoroughly unpleasant person, Koshai the Deathless, he was called, and for good reason. His soul was cleverly hidden outside of his body, and he could not be killed so long as it remained intact. Koshai was a villain, and a notorious kidnapper of women, but something about him always stuck with me. I suppose that it was the notion of immortality through cleverness that resonated. There was something to be learned from that, I was sure. And so, when it came time to name my beloved creation, his was the first name that came to mind. And is your drone deathless, like its namesake? In a manner of speaking, I suppose that he is. I have redundant copies of every piece of his architecture, and his core programming is stored on a disk in a secret location. Should he ever suffer critical damage, I can easily bring him back. I had a plan once to automate the self-repair process. I must confess, I was really quite ingenious, but alas, my research was lost. One day I will reclaim it, but Koshai will become as deathless as the stories claim, but it will not be today. You've got some interesting machinery in here, not the kind that you typically see outside of corporate settings. He smiles. The same could be said of many in Heoi. I'm sure this is Smuggler's Den, is it not? Our entire economy is based on people having things that they shouldn't. Is there a particular device that interests you out of curiosity? The robotic arms that you have got over there, they look like something's taken from an automotive assembly plant. His smile flashes brilliantly in the light. Good guess, that's precisely what they are. They fell off a boat, you might say. They weren't cheap, but I acquired them and I had them mounted to the walls of my shop. I simply have to have them. The return of investment has been dramatic. Yes, they are cruder by far than the Waldo devices that I used in my professional life, but they still do the job, and they are mine. He gazes lovingly at the industrial arms, still smiling. They have increased my fabrication capabilities nearly tenfold, and that to me is worth any price. Are you Russian? I thought I caught a hint of an accent there. He nods. You have a good ear, I am impressed. Yes, I grew up in Nizhny Novgorod, went to school there, started my career there in the industrial sector. A faintly common story, I'm sure. But I have also traveled a great deal, and in so doing I have absorbed a number of other languages and dialects. How many languages do you speak? Counting Russian and Cantonese, 15. He shrugs apologetically. It shames me to admit that I am only literate in 12, however. That's still impressive. You're either way too hard on yourself or acting ashamed to cover up the fact that you're bragging. Why bother learning all that organically? With the right no-softs you could speak as many languages as you like. Very true, but I can be an obstinate man. When I set my mind to something, I cannot rest until it is achieved. I determined when I was very young to hammer languages into this complicated lump of meat that we call brain. And so, while the use of no-softs could easily accomplish the same ends with a lot less work, I have committed myself to learning the old-fashioned way. You said you were used to work for a corp. Whose payroll were you on? He sighs. That is something of a sore subject. My departure was involuntary, you see. I did not part ways with my employer under the best of terms. I will tell you that I worked for Greenwich Aviacor, but you will forgive me if I don't want to go into detail. Keeping all of this machinery running can't be cheap. How can you afford it? Freelance. At the risk of sounding immodest, I've commodified myself rather well. There are always corporations in need of design consultations. You would be surprised by how lucrative such work can be, and there's always other work that I can turn to in a pinch. You said that you did other work besides consulting. Care to tell me what kind? He pauses, and for a second something flashes in his eye. Koshai lowers its body into a couch. A rather personal question, wouldn't you say? Maybe, but then we are having a personal conversation. Indeed we are, but even in personal conversations, certain topics can be held off limits. Truth be told, I don't feel especially comfortable discussing my side work with relative strangers. Suffice it to say that my freelance activities often fall on the illicit end of the spectrum. Tell you what, I'm just going to guess. You're a Shadowrunner, aren't you? He gives you a shallow nod. I dislike the term, but yes, I run the shadows. What gave me away? You're drawn. People on the up and up don't build murder bots for fun. Nothing in particular, just get that feeling. Design consultants live in apartments in Victoria Harbour. You're living in a rusted out boat in Heoi. There's got to be a reason for that. He shrugs. You are correct, of course. The residents of shadow communities are usually either too poor to live elsewhere or engage in behaviors too illicit to risk it. I will admit to being in the latter camp. Designing robotics is my passion, but it doesn't always pay the bills. He runs hand over Koshai's armored chassis, caressing the sculpted metal with his fingertips. My status as a foreigner has proven something of an impediment in this regard. And so, sorry that as I may be to say, the lion's share of my income flows from Koshai's aptitude to butchery. Such is life, I suppose. We do what we must to do what we love. Seems like everybody on this boat runs the shadows. Why not pool our resources and work together? Purses his lips, considering. A compelling offer. I am doing quite well on my own, but I must admit that there are certain jobs for which I am unsuited. Magic eludes me, and I am not a decker. My strength comes from material objects in the real world, solid things with mass and heft, things that I can rebuild and operate. Sadly, a great many clients are only interested in teams that display mastery of the intangible. This group of yours, do you have people who can cover those bases? If so, then perhaps we can help each other out. How can you not already know that? You live right beneath our feet. Yes, we have shaman and a decker, both competent at the jobs. Yes, we also have a former security expert. I guess that's the best way to describe Duncan. In that case, I will accept your offer on a provisional basis. We'll do a few runs together and see how we get on. If our association bears fruit, it will continue. If not, I will bid you my farewell and go back to working alone. How does that sound? Welcome aboard. Very good, excellent. When you receive a job, you know where to find me. My skills and resources are at your disposal. And with that, I'm afraid that I must bid you good day. I still have work to do down here. This leg assembly won't clean itself. I'm in touch, looking forward to working with you. And I with you. Dann schauen wir uns hier noch um. Open Door. Das ist einfach nur sein Schlafkämmerchen. Da müssen wir noch mit den Leuten oben quatschen. Wu's cabin appears to be the only clean spot in the bolt hole. His equipment is neatly laid out in his bedding, grouped by type, arranged just so. He's currently in the process of cleaning his weapons with meticulous care. Well, that's that. I guess we are runners now. Yep, think it's time to catch up. I forgot to ask about benefits. Think we get medical and dental care? Something on your mind, gun show? Boo holds up a palm. Don't. When we were alone, it's either Wu or Duncan. Gun doesn't show... doesn't live here. Wu looks down the barrel of his gun, brushes off some dirt. And yeah, there's plenty on my mind. That's why I'm doing equipment maintenance. Discipline of it helps me focus. Process. What about you? You look like you want to talk about something. I want to talk about Raymond. Okay, shoot. What do you think is going on with him? Why do you think he came to Hong Kong? Well, he's from here, right? It sounds like he had unfinished business that he needed to take care of before. You think he's dying? Maybe. Just something to think about. What do you think is going on with him? I don't know, Mike. He was clearly obsessed with the walled city and whatever prosperity is. He sounds like a sleepwalker trying to stumble his way through a dream or something. A sleepwalker who hires Shadowrunners. Whatever he was doing, he knew it would be dangerous. Raymond was smart as hell. If he thought he needed runners to take him into that place, he needed them. Did he say anything about me after I left? You know Raymond, Mike, he taught us what he wanted to teach us. Told us what he wanted us to know. Everything else was met with a wall of good-natured silence. He used to say, "You are the master of the unspoken word, Mr. Wu. Once it is out of your mouth, it is out of your control." So no, after you left, he never said a word about you, not a word. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about being Shadowrunners. What's there to say? I worked my ass off to pull myself out of the gutter and make something of my life. I did what it took to earn my bronze, and now I'm mercenarily hiding in the shadows of a foreign country, doing dirty jobs that the cops need to keep off the books. It's the reverse of everything I ever wanted. You seem to be taking to it plenty damn well, so let me ask you something. You said this was all about running the shadows until you find out who killed Raymond. Then it's about payback. Is that true? Yes, this is all about revenge for me. No, that's just what I told Kindley. Then, what was the real reason? You know, I don't have anything back home. This is as good as life as any, I guess. There's a good money in the shadows. It's about time I cashed in. I'm running the shadows until we find out who killed Raymond, and someone's gonna pay. Until I can clear my name and get all the hell out of Hong Kong. I think Raymond's alive. We need to run the shadows until we find out what really happened. Actually, that was the real reason. At least you're consistent. What's your opinion of Kindly Cheng? I'd say she's got us right where she wanted us, wants us, right under her thumb. What do you want to talk about specifically? Oh je, das ist doch wieder sehr, sehr, sehr viel Gelaber. What do you think she wants from us? As long as the network keeps delivering information about Raymond, I don't care, at least not for now. At least for now. We need to stay with her. We have no other connections in Hong Kong. Without her, we are dead in the water. You think we can trust her? They tried, boss, an underground fixer? No, I don't think we can trust her, but as long as we all share the same goals, we should be okay. I wish that I had your confidence. Makes sense, as long as we serve her interests, she doesn't have a reason to screw us over. Exactly, it's simple. She provides jobs, we do jobs. We get info about Raymond and that plastic-faced man, and we figure out what the hell is going on. We figure out what's going on, she doesn't end up in the trunk of a car at the bottom of the river. Everybody wins. What about this plastic-faced man? Creepy dudes are nothing new to me, even well-dressed creepy corporate dudes. Between the gangers we grew up with and the shit that I've run into as a cop, I've seen all kinds. I just want to know who he is and who he works for. We should keep an eye on Strangler Bao. We should keep an eye on everybody, and that guy is definitely no exception. I've seen plenty of cold killers in the Barrens and plenty more since I joined Lone Star. This guy's the real deal. I'm not sure if he knows what the word remorse even means. You should steer clear of him. I'll be careful. I can see that. Let's talk about something else. Sure if you want. Let's talk about Gobbet and Isabel. They seem competent considering how young they are, but then again they sound like they've been taking care of themselves since they were pretty young. The three of us work together well in the walled city. Based on that, I'd bet the four of us would make a solid crew. Do you trust them? As far as I trust any runner, yeah. It's like Raymond used to say, trust and verify. They haven't given me a reason not to trust them, so until they do, I'll believe what they say and keep my eyes open. I can't get that dream that I had off my head. You said you had one too, right? Yeah, yours sounded like a nasty one. I don't remember much about mine. I was pretty creeped out by our run into the walled city. Between that and all the drama, I'd be surprised if I didn't have a nightmare, he shrugs. Was the walled city in your dream? Of course, the walled city was in my dream. It was a nightmare, wasn't it? He gives you a lopsided grin. Was it in your dream too? Sure looked like it. I'm not sure I'm surprised. The walled city is more than just another slum in a sprawl. Hell, it is a sprawl. Of course, we dreamed about it. The feeling I had there has stayed with me. It felt thick, heavy. And I got this overwhelming feeling of, I don't know, wretchedness, I guess. What do you remember about yours? Just little snatches of things. He puts his hands on his hips and concentrates. The walled city was breathing, and it had teeth everywhere. And there was a tunnel that was so bright that I had to shut my eyes. And Raymond was there. I was either kneeling or lying down. I can't remember which, but he was crying. That's what made me wake up. The sound of my father crying. Did it feel any different from other nightmares you had? He takes his time, thinks about his answer a bit before he responds. You know how sometimes you'll be mad at a friend in a dream and then wake up still mad at him? Then you treat him like he did something wrong when you see him? It kind of feels like that to me, like I dreamt I was swimming towards a bright light and when I woke up I was out of breath from the effort. Let's talk about something else. Alright, let's talk later. Later's good. I want to do some cardio, work off some steam. Then it's a rack time for me. You should do the same, Mike. A couple 100 push-ups would do you good. Don't think so, Duncan, but hey, knock yourself out. Please, I could bust out 200 in my sleep. Thanks for the offer, but I think I'll go have a drink instead. I don't think so, Duncan, but knock yourself out. He shrugs. You're lost. Talk to you later. Der nächste. Isabel's cabin is an exercise in controlled chaos. Her living space is utterly dominated by an enormous jury-rigged computer. Serpentine cables snake from component to component, tying dozens of obsolete terminals and cyberdecks together into a single colossal machine. This is my personal machine. If you're looking for your mission computer, it's downstairs. She doesn't bother looking up. You can see that she's elbow deep in the guts of an obsolete cyberdeck, one of a half dozen that have been wired into her computer with braided cables. Actually, I was hoping to talk to you. Got a second? Yeah, I've seen it. I like this better. Thanks. She continues to study the cyberdeck's inner components, clucking her tongue. Skinny fingers dart in to label a stray wire with a strip of electrical tape. So, you need something? I guess so, yeah. Can I ask you a few questions? You wanna crawl out of that computer and talk to me face to face? You must be pretty absorbed by what you're doing, right? Huh? Can I ask you a few questions? She leans in, scrutinizing the innards of the obsolete deck. Go ahead, I'm not stopping you. Have you been having weird dreams recently? Her body goes still. Yes, I think that everybody there has. Me too, I've been having horrible nightmares. I was just curious, not trying to make a big deal over it. You wanna tell me what your dream was about? Not particularly. I don't remember much anyway. I've gotten good at forgetting things related to that place. Slowly, she begins rummaging through the guts of the obsolete cyberdeck again. I am not interested in talking about my dreams, Kordanor. I just want to work on my computer in peace. That's quite a machine you are working on. Care to tell me about it? Yeah. She's my pet project. I call her the Octopus. She waves a hand at the tangle of thick power cables that radiate out from the machine's central core. You might be able to guess why. Did you do all of this yourself? Impressive work. How well does it perform? Could you build me one? She chuckles grimly. You wanna pay me for it? Actually, scratch that. I don't have the time. If I were to build a machine for you, I'd have to neglect the octopus. She yanks a fried chip from the deck's computer board and neatly sets it aside, then fumbles in a nearby bin for a replacement. Obviously, that isn't going to happen. What is this thing made of? Why bother building your own machine? Don't you earn enough by buy something new? She scoffs at you. Of course I do. That isn't what this is about. I built the octopus myself. She's mine, and no one else in the world has one. She chuckles to herself as she eases a card into an empty expansion slot. Most deckers are early adopters. They buy whatever's newest, shell out huge amounts of new yen in hopes of riding the bleeding edge. Stupid. Why? Because I can have 5 of last year's model for a quarter the piece of that with new cyberdeck. And after I finish daisy chaining them together, the machine that I've built with run circles around you hot new deck. Yeah, and you need a flatbed truck to carry it. Do we look like we're hurting for space to you? She rummages in a bin to her left and pulls out a stick of solid-state memory. It disappears into a deck that she's working on. I've got a whole boat to work with, your cabin included. If I told Gubbert I needed it, you wouldn't. Be my guest, I wouldn't mind. Long pause. Huh. Well, I was joking, but if you are really okay with it, I might someday. We'll see. What about your portable gear, your cyberdeck software, that kind of thing? It gets the job done. Might not be top of the line, but I'm comfortable using it in the field. If you should happen to come across any more advanced hardware or software, either on the job or in the discount track at Law's Techno Palace, I'm not above taking donations, but bearing that, I'm fine with using what I've got. Your call. Can we talk about the ambush at Victoria Harbor? I'd rather not. I lost friends there. Duncan and I didn't come out of the attack unscathed either. They shot Carter down, same as your friends. Was she your friend? You didn't see that close. She returns her attention to the octopus, turning her back on you. I'd like to get to know you better. Tell me something about yourself. Something? She paused for a moment. Okay. I don't like small talk. Does that count? Sure. It tells me that you don't want to be social. Yes, of course. If you don't want to talk, we don't have to talk. Oh, come on. You have to give me more than that. Thanks for not pushing it. It's nothing personal. I just don't think that I'm a very interesting person. You don't like talking about things other than your computers very much, do you? There's a long pause before she responds. When she does, she sounds vaguely hurt. I prefer not to. Nothing personal. It's just the way that I am. There's nothing wrong with that. I just want to know who I'm running with, don't you? You should learn to speak up. The whole strong and silent thing doesn't work. It does? Yes, you're still a mystery to me. There's a long pause. I don't like mysteries, but I do enjoy solving them. She turns, gives you her full attention. So, here's what we are going to do. I'm gonna ask you a question, something personal. After you've given me an answer, you get to ask me something. Think of it like a game of questions. We take turns until one of us wants to quit. Deal? Deal. You go first, ask away. She studies your face. We'll start off easy. Tell me what you really think about Duncan. He can be a pain in the ass, but he's like a brother to me. We are old friends who drifted apart, that's all. He was a means to an end back in the Barrens. Now he's just irritating. I don't have any feelings about him one way or the other. Imma does? Interesting. Her eyes fit to the doorway of Gobbet's cabin. The corner of her mouth tilts upward into a slight smile. And a little familiar. Well, you answered my question. I guess that makes it your turn. How long have you been running the shadows with Gobbet? That's a good question. I guess about 4 years now. A decent stretch by anyone's reckoning. And that would make it my turn. She pauses, considering. So tell me, what was your connection to Raymond Black? He was like a father to me and Duncan. He got us out of the Barrens. He was a rich old man who wanted to buy the gratitude of some street kids. I accepted. He was my benefactor and my mentor. I respected him. Oh, das erste, he was like a father to me and Duncan. In that case, I'm sorry for your loss. Losing the ones that you love is hard. Your turn. Ask me a question and I'll give you an answer. How did you and Gobbet meet? Her brow furrows, and after a moment she screws her eyes shut. We met as kids in the walled city. My prison was her playground. You okay, Isabel? Of course, I'm okay, I'm fine. She shifts her gaze to the octopus. I just have a hard time remembering those days. My childhood is kind of a blur. And that brings us back to my turn. She gestures at the cabin walls around you. You enjoy it, don't you? Living like this, working the shadows? Yeah, Raymond Black was wrong. This is what I was born to do. No, I left the shit behind when Raymond pulled me out of the Barrens. I want my old life back. This is survival, I do what I have to. Enjoyment doesn't come into it. She blinks. We may have more in common than I thought. You turn again. Go ahead, ask me something. Where did you learn to deck? The Wampua. I lived there for a while after escaping the walled city. The people there were difficult. We didn't get along, but it was a great place to learn. My turn again. Her head tilts as she studies your face. And I think my last question for you. You're stuck here, marooned. You and Duncan both. He's obviously unhappy with the situation. He keeps going on about the things that he left behind. But what about you? Is there anything that you want to get back to? Nothing worth mentioning. Truth be told, I'm enjoying the change of scenery. Yeah, I left something important behind, my entire life. My friends, my career, everything I had worth caring about. Nothing worth mentioning, truth be told. No, what does? Nothing? There isn't anything about your old life that you'll miss? I don't know whether to envy you or feel sorry for you. She glances down at the clock on your desk, an antique model with physical hands that looks like it was wrenched out of a submarine. A frown spreads across her face. Shit, it's even later than I thought, and I've still got a long way to go before the octopus is fixed. She begins to turn away, her attention fixed on the stack of partially disassembled cyberdecks arrayed in front of her. Hang on, Isabel. You still owe me another question. She stops in place, fidgets. That's true. Go ahead. I need you to tell me what you can about the walled city. Her voice goes cold. Why? Because Raymond Black wanted to go in there, and somebody destroyed my life to keep him from doing that. What do you think? That hellhole is getting into our heads, influencing our dreams. Because I visited the place, but I know that there's more going on there than I've seen. Does ya? Her cheeks flush, just like they did the last time. She averts her eyes. No, I am sorry, but no. Later by me, maybe, but not now. Alright, Isabel, maybe next time. Blinking, she turns away and buries herself into the octopus's displayed innards. Please excuse me, I have work to do. Und dann müssen wir immer noch mit der reden, aber das müssen wir dann beim nächsten Mal machen. Ja, dann würde ich sagen, bis denn.